LifeFight with Jermaine Andre is a positive production of RareGem Productions. For previous episodes or to get new episode updates, subscribe to the LifeFight channel hosted on the Inspiration Network of OneRareGem.com. That's OneRaregem.com for the tools you need to take on your life fight. With U.S. Martial Arts Hall of Famer, 2-time world champion, 5-time U.S. champion, UFC vet, life coach, and author, Jermaine Andre. Visit JermaineAndre.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to LifeFight. Jermaine Andre here with my co-host, Rebecca Beck.
Hello.
And today, I've got a very, very interesting topic. It's kind of like I'm going to have to do a little geometry and math and some science and all that stuff that's hard for me because I've been questioned about some impossible self-defense situations. There's been some things happening, out there in the public eye that make that look almost impossible to defend yourself from. So we're going to talk about that. I'm trying to bring some solutions to those questions. And also I'm going to mention about this Belgium train ride. And these guys, these 3 men who stood up, and I'm going to tell you what happened, to a gunman with an AK-47 and a box cutter. And I'm going to let you know what happened because that's something that we definitely need to start talking about. But before we get into all of that, I want to talk about what we did in class the other day. During class, I did some what's called I have the program Attack Back. And I'm making sure that all of my students are, trained well in Attack Back, also on top of their Muay Thai sprawl training and everything else. Mm-hmm. So what I did was everybody came to class, and I told them, get your shoes on and everybody go out to your car. And I pulled everybody outside. I said, hey, today we're training from inside your car. Everybody kind of looked at me like I was crazy. But I said, you have to get used to fighting outside the comfort of the gym. Right. The comfort of nobody's really going to attack you. The Master Chief is here. All that kind of stuff. But outside of even that, just a different environment. Right. Outside you got the big sky, you've got, the passing cars, and then being in your vehicle and have to defend yourself while in the vehicle, right. From a carjacker, a kidnapper, somebody who's in the car with you that you want to get out of the car is some of the stuff we worked on. Yeah. So I know we worked, how to kick somebody if somebody's coming in at you, you're sitting in the car, how to kick them, from you kick them out the door with what was it, a front push kick or a side kick? Yep, side kick.
The girls had fun with the hammer fist.
Hammer fist to the groin. Yeah, I noticed that, the ladies, it was hard to get them off of that one, And, of course, we were using pads. I had pads set up a certain way so everybody could, boom, boom, they could practice these techniques because that's something that you don't think about is that you got these techniques, we show what a palm strike, an elbow, how to use your elbow to somebody who's in the passenger seat. You have all these weapons and you're just used to using them on pads or a bag that somebody's holding standing in front of you. Right. But realistically, a self-defense situation probably is not going to happen in a gym with somebody who's standing there waiting for your jab cross hook, or whatever technique it is you're going to use. Right. So that was a pretty enjoyable training session. Yep. It was fun, so.
Even though I didn't get to try it, but
why not? I'm listening. The listeners listening too. Why didn't you get to try this?
I had to help everybody.
Oh, okay. I thought. Wait a minute. I was the one running the class.
Yeah.
And I was the one getting kicked in the chest, holding that bag. I didn't see you holding the bag, getting kicked and knocked
Actually,
around.
I was walking around doing that.
Oh, were you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's because we had so many people out there.
Since I didn't get to try it, then I get a private lesson.
What? You always get private lessons. You stopped your private lessons.
No.
But anyhow, so that's something just to keep in mind, for your self-defense training personally, is that you have to train outside of the environment of just the gym. Yep. Get your training in other places. Because I know let's check on my Facebook, you'll see a video, Rebecca and I were at the lake and she was asleep. We just came from the pool. She was in her swimsuit and I attacked her butt on the bed, with the focus pads and clapped them, bow, scared the crap out of her, put the pad out and she had to jump up and, and hit and attack back, some good old fashioned Pink Panther type stuff. So that was just to keep her on guard. But that's the thing, she had to, attack back around the bed and all that kind of stuff while she was in the swimsuit. Mm-hmm. But that's probably what's going to happen in self-defense situation. She's probably not going to have her gym clothes on and her hands wrapped and, her mouthpiece in and, and be set and the bell go off, ding, all right, go, and you be able to go.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that was probably the most challenging thing was, like not being in a stance, not having a correct
Right.
form. I like popped up and I had to go straight to my knees, and do it from my knees. And then,
Well,
like,
you
one
actually started
leg,
palm striking while from laying on your back.
Yeah, that's true.
You
I was
woke up,
back.
you shook like, and then you
Yeah.
woke up, pop, 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 and you started throwing palm strikes
Yeah.
from a laying position. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So moving forward, this train ride, there was a train ride in Belgium, and these three men. I'm gonna try to pronounce their names right: Alex Scorlatos, Spencer Stone, and Anthony Sadler. And one of them heard a gunman loading a gun and chambering and cocking the gun in the bathroom on the train. And so the gunman came out. One of the men attacked him. He had an AK-47, and this guy he cut up.
Yeah.
He had a box cutter in his hand too, and he cut up the guy. But the guy called for help from some other guys on the train, and these other two guys jumped in, and they took this dude down, shut him down, stopped him cold, tied him up. They got a picture of him, and I'm going to put it up on my Facebook page so you can see it. He's tied up with T-shirts or whatever it is, hog tied, and not very badly beaten, which, that's putting them above it all, because if somebody had cut me with a box cut, this guy got cut up bad, the back of his neck and
Yeah, it was
everything.
all torn
I don't
up.
know what I would have done to that guy. He definitely wouldn't have been going to trial.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'd have just lost it right there on top of him. But so for these guys, but them standing up, they shut down a man with an automatic rifle that was about to make a blood fest on this train. They saved everybody's lives, including their own.
Yeah.
So that's something that we have to take note of. Like I tell everybody, we all live in violent times now. And crazy crap happens, and it can pop up in front of you at any moment. I don't care how many degrees you got. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how poor you are. I don't care how much you don't care about the world. I don't care how much you do care about the world. At any moment, you can have a situation where, boom, something's about to happen. Either you're going to do something to stop it, or you're going to sit back and let it happen, and then you're going to probably end up being part of the victim, being a victim also.
Yeah.
So I really, really applaud these three guys for standing up like that. And it's like I always say, I know in the first couple podcasts, I always said, if you ever, in a bank with me or anything, and some guys break out guns and say, everybody on the ground, just be prepared to get shot because I'm not getting on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm fighting. I'd rather take bullets in the face and chest running forward than in the back of the head after they've done God knows what to everybody in there as hostages. So, there's for these men to step up like that, when one guy had already been cut,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And the other guy said, hey, I'm going to get cut too. But they end up stopping everything. And, the guy who got cut, he's going to get stitched up. And, he's a hero now. He's going to be okay. And those guys didn't even get hurt. They stopped that. So I definitely wanted to mention that. That was a really, really good.
Now, standing up for something that's happening, like this happened and it was in public and, them standing up for the situation was a little bit different. Sometimes I think nowadays what's scary, like you always say, criminals are smart. Things are more set up.
Very smart.
Because this just happened to me, actually. I was driving home or something, and I saw two girls in the car, and the car was broken down. Remember, I think I called you and asked you, and I was like, how do you even know when to help somebody sometimes? Because you get nervous that, they're waiting for someone to come help them, and then, bam, you're in the back of their car. Or how do I know I didn't help somebody that really needed help?
Yeah, that's such a hard one to answer, and I'm not even going to answer that today because today is impossible self-defense situations, not impossible rescue missions. Because that's totally, I have to think on that.
Yeah.
That's a whole totally, because what you're saying, I'll give you a good example. When Caitlin was here and we were driving somewhere and I saw two women broke down, and I was driving. As a matter of fact, no, it was one woman and she was walking and her car was broken down right there, and Caitlin was with me and I was driving. I was like, Jermaine, you can't abandon, I'm not supposed to, as far as my beliefs, I'm not supposed to abandon any kind of harmed creature.
Yeah.
Even a harmed animal, I got to go over and try to do what I can, put them out of his misery, whatever I can do for her. So I'm like, okay, here's a woman walking. I see her car broken down right there, and she's walking. She's got a long walk to the gas station.
Yeah.
Long walk, but I got my daughter in the car. Do I take a chance that this is some psycho serial killer? Am I going to put her in the seat behind my daughter and she pull a knife and cut my daughter's throat? You know what I'm saying? So you have to think like that.
Right.
I said, or do I go against my morale beliefs and abandon her?
Right.
And say, bye, you're on your own. So what? Have a nice day. I said, man, I got to put this, like I always say, when I'm confused, I just say a prayer to God. I say, look, you got to take this one because I don't know.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And I was like, Caitlin, what do you think I should do? She's kind of like, I don't know, Dad. You taught me that you don't pick up hitchhikers. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? What are you supposed to do? And I said, yeah, but that's an abandoned woman. But you know what I'm saying? And so she got into the same moral battle in her head.
Yeah.
I said, man, I can't leave her out there. Like I said, hold on a second. I rolled down the window. I said, excuse me, ma'am. You know, she's like, yeah. I said, you need a ride or you need help? She said, I'm okay. I just called somebody. Somebody's coming for me. And she had the phone. I was like, whoo, you know, all right, see you. I'm gone. Right. You know, I'm out of there. So luckily, I didn't get put in that situation, you know, but what I probably would have done, like I said, we're not going over this, you know, because I'm going to actually come up with procedures that a person can use, is I definitely would have put Caitlin in the back seat and put her in the front seat next to me, you know, and I would have stayed prepared to move on her and do whatever I would need to do, where she at least is not behind it. I would have Caitlin ready that, hey, you pay attention that if this woman makes any jerky moves, I'm going to work on her, you know, so put your seatbelt on, you know, and just be ready to see that happen, you know what I'm saying? And it's, you know, like you say, it's scary, you know, I mean, do you even help a person, you know, just like the guy that comes up and he's got a missing leg, you know, and you know, he got a bum deal in life. And he said, man, can you help me with some money? Do I give this guy money and take a chance on you getting shot because he wants more, you know, and he pulls a gun because he's sick of life? Or do I tell him, hey, stay away from me, I'm going to mess you up to protect you? You know what I'm saying? So
I think about that a lot. I think about self-defense helping somebody else a lot. You know, like if we're in a parking lot or something, you see a girl getting ready to get jumped by a bunch of girls, you know, do you jump in the middle of it? Yeah, so that's another, you know.
That's a whole nother. And I remember one of my students actually, and I've been meaning to get around to that because he sent me a Facebook message and it said, you know, how do you play hero in a riot? Remember, I was showing how you drive through a riot. If you know, here's some tips on driving through a riot and being safe. And he said, what if you want to help somebody? Yeah. You know, and I have ways for that. I just haven't gotten around to, you know, putting it together. But that's, I know I need to get it. I know it's so much. It's so much in demand for me. I tell you, it's crazy. You know, but that goes along with that. Yeah. You know, how do you safely help people nowadays? So there's a whole nother podcast. Okay. So moving along to this podcast. On that one then. So what we got on this one? I'm gonna drink some water. And
we had a couple situations. I mean, there's been a few situations that just happened. There was actually a news reporter that got shot. Now, I'm not really sure. I saw the video, but I didn't see the end result. If she actually got shot or did she get away?
No, they got killed.
Oh, she did get killed.
Yeah, the reporter and the cameraman got killed, and then the shooter shot himself. But I think Bill, you probably know, he lived, didn't he? I think he lived. I think they have him in custody. No, he's done. He did? Okay. Because somebody told me that he tried to kill himself, but they had him in custody. So, okay, well, he's gone. Wow. But what it was, and this is what happened, it was a situation, you can probably find the video if you look up, like, news reporter shooting. I know YouTube took it down, of course, you know, but there's people who have it on their websites where you can go and you can still view it. And it's graphic. You actually see the gunman filmed himself, and you see him he walks and he's standing probably about 3 to 4 feet away from the reporter.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now, the cameraman's back is to him, so the cameraman can't see him, but the person getting interviewed is still, you know, facing where they can see. And then the reporter, he's standing right at her 3 o'clock, which is right beside her, and he lifts this gun, and you can see the gun. It's a Glock, you know, 19 or something, and you know it looks like a video game. And he's pointing it right at her. He holds it for probably about 3 seconds. And she's just interviewing, talking. Then he lowers the gun. You're like, what the heck? Is this a joke or something? Is he playing around? And it takes probably about 5 seconds goes by. And then he lifts it up and you see him shoot her. Yeah. You know, and this is the thing. When she gets shot, she doesn't even know she's shot. You know, because it's something.
She stood there. I did see that.
Well, she took a bunch of hits before she even responded. You know, she was so surprised that she just turned and looked. You know, because this is the thing, reporters are taught, and this is where this was a perfect assassination. Reporters are taught to ignore everything that goes on around them. They're taught to have bad awareness on what's happening over here. You know, I can't remember, it was a movie that was made, and these guys were reporting, you know, and they showed them, blah, 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 blah. And on the side, the guys over there acting a fool, blah, 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 doing all this stuff to make them laugh. And they're just, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, oh, you guys, you'll never get me. And that's the games they play in the newsroom because they're so good.
So they have to zone everything out.
They zone everything out. So this reporter was so zoned out that went pop, 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 pop. She just looked and she finally realized what was going on and she ran. You know, and then he eventually ended up getting them. He got the camera and everything also. But and I'm gonna get on the self-defense stuff. But this, to make a real quick point, I always tell everybody, a gun doesn't make you invincible. Yeah. You know, this woman got shot 3 times
Probably
before she even knew she was shot. You know, and then I know I put up a video a long time ago where the Indian guy was getting harassed by a couple of white guys, and the white guys punched him in the face and tried to jump him. He pulled his gun, shot the guy, I think 3 times in the chest. The guy didn't even, it didn't stop him or knock him down like you see a movie. Everybody think you're going to shoot somebody or knock him through a wall like a movie. Mm-hmm. And the guy just kind of fell. And he got back up and ran, got in his car, and he didn't die till he died later. But the whole thing is, like I tell people, just because you got a gun does not make you invincible. You still have to know how to fight with your hands and feet. Yeah. Because like the guy that the Indian got shot, if he had a knife or a gun, he still could have cut him, cut his throat. He still could have shot him, drew his gun and shot him. Mm-hmm. You know, the reporter showing that a woman could take that many shots and it didn't drop her. If she had been an attacker coming after him to rob him or something, he pulled his Glock out and fired some shots, but he don't know how to, use his elbow or use a front push kick. Right. That guy keep rushing him with a knife that's got, boo-boo on it, which will get you infected everywhere, and start slashing and cutting, he still would have got cut up with that knife. Or if that guy drew his gun, he still could have shot back too. Yeah. And that's why you hear a lot of people, you hear when these cops, they pull their guns out and they shoot somebody. And everybody say, well, why did you shoot him 16 times? You didn't have to shoot him that many times. Yeah. Because these cops know that this ain't a movie. Mm-hmm. You can put 10 bullets in somebody and he can still pull a gun and shoot you. So when a cop has to shoot you, he's trained to unload that clip in your chest until you are down on the ground and that weapon's away from your hand. Yeah. Because even if I'm laying here and the gun's in my hand, and he stops shooting, I can roll over one shot, hit him in his face, knock his teeth out and his eyeball. That cop don't want that to happen to him. And I know most people don't care about cops getting shot. They just want the cops to not shoot anybody. You know what I'm saying? But this cop is thinking, I don't want to lose my eyeball or catch a bullet in the groin. And I can't ever get with my woman again. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to unload that clip. But that was one thing that people need to see, is that a gun doesn't make you invincible. You still need to be trained in hand-to-hand combat. You still need to be trained how to use your feet, footwork, movement, things like that. You know, so if you do have to use that gun, you're not just counting on this gun stopping this person. Right. Because it may not stop him. It may kill him later. People have been shot in the head and ran for 4 or 5 blocks before they even drop. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that was something that was seen.
That was a good point, not a quick point, though.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was a quick point for me, because I could have made a podcast out of that. Yeah. So, but going back to my what we were originally talking about before you sent me on that rampage on something else.
I always bring you back. It's okay.
Okay. People ask me, they said, what could she have done? Yeah. And I say, in that situation, that was a perfect assassination. The guy who went after her, obviously he was a worker for the news company. So he knew his victim. He was hunting. He knew that when he came up on her and approached her from the side, that she was going to be, she's on, the person being interviewed. Somebody said, what about the person getting interviewed? Well, the person getting interviewed is so nervous, for one. Yeah. They're just trying to focus on what they're trying to say. Here, this is what we have here. They see something like that, they think that's probably a part of what's going on, because they're so afraid to step outside and be real. Yeah, they got the tunnel vision, and they're afraid to do something out of line. Right. You see what I'm saying? You're standing here getting interviewed and you got this big time reporter. Okay, all right, so Jermaine, now what? And you're like, well, blah, 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 blah. You don't want to say, hey, oh, wait a minute. Hey, you got a booger in your nose. Oh, yeah. Hey, what's this dude doing right here? You don't want to say that because it's live. Right. This was live, so their tunnel vision out, their awareness is off. The cameraman had his back, to him. And when he walked up to the reporter, she's so used to doing a good job, that no matter what happens over here, she's not laughing or, oh my God, what was that? Or looking, that even when the shots fired, she didn't even flinch. You know what I'm saying? So as far as her right there in that moment, there wasn't much she could do. Yeah. There wasn't much she can do. Now, this goes back to what I teach bodyguards, bouncers, police officers about reading behavior. And when, like I say, when you're the doorman of the club, you're the doorman or bouncer of a club, because bouncers are the ones I train the highest, because they don't have backup, they don't have a gun, they don't have and they don't have the law behind them. Right. Because actually they're just citizens. They ain't even supposed to be laying their hands on anybody. So they need to try prevention. So in her case, it was more prevention than self-defense. And when I say that, I train bodyguards, bouncers. You can tell what somebody's up to by how they're acting when they come in the front door, by their behavior, by their expression, by the way that they look, by their body language. Right. So with her, I don't know what the situation was with this guy. I don't think this was a guy just open firing on a reporter, especially if he worked there. Obviously, they had some kind of background together where he was really mad over something.
Right.
That it brought him to kill them and kill himself. You know, so, and that's what I'm assuming. You know, he might be a person with mental health problems, something like that. I don't know. But I'm making this assumption that if she knew she had somebody that could possibly be after her, then she should have been looking out for it.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of where I tell people, you know, people come to my school and they say, well, I want to learn self-defense. I want to learn this and that, you know. And then you'll deal with somebody who say, well, I got this person, this stalker. And I say, you need a different type of training.
Yeah.
You need a different type of awareness because a stalker is going to be using smart things to get at you.
Right.
This is not just the everyday person you walking down the street and, you know, he comes across and tries to rob you and all you had to do is keep, you know, 10 feet away from him or, you know, just acknowledge that he was there to take away his seclusion.
Right.
This is somebody who's hiding, somebody who's learning your patterns of behavior. So you need a totally different type of training. And in her situation, I would have to say that she would have had to have, if she knew that she had this problem that existed, she should have been watching out, you know, for him, or it should have been reported that, you know, hey, this may possibly be coming to something, you know, that's horrible, you know, but it should have been where that's the only way she could have done anything in that situation.
Yeah, which most reporters probably, even if there wasn't a serious situation that happened to them, you know, just being the person that reports news or something, you know, somebody's probably always against you for something. I think that alone, you know, it's like a lawyer or somebody, you know, or not a lawyer. Yeah, like a lawyer or somebody. You know that somebody's probably going to always be after you because they're against something that you've done in your past. So,
well, as you know, I tell you all the time, if you're out there becoming something, somebody hates you.
Yeah.
You know, you're always gonna have whether it's your competition, you know, something like that. But like I said, that situation seemed with him being somebody who worked there, and he was willing to take 2 lives and his own. There seems like there's something personal there.
Yeah.
You know, that she had to have known that it was pretty bad.
Yep.
So that's where we have to always be careful with who we deal with. And that's why I always tell everybody, nobody ever wins a fight, you know, because that's the way it can end.
Yeah.
You know, so even when we're, you know, dealing with arguing, you know what this goes to? And remember I put a post up on my Facebook not too long ago and I said, give a man nothing, leave a man no opportunity, offer a man nothing, and he'll stand against you for anything. You know, and what I'm trying to get everybody to understand is the way we treat each other. Because you see a lot of, you know, dealing with the situations with the protesters and the rioters and all this, and the people who live in these safe areas where they don't have to deal with it, talk bad, down about the protesters and the rioters and all that. That's because they feel they're safe and they're away from them. You know, but if you had to be right in their face, you wouldn't be talking like that.
Right.
And I'm saying, you know, be more compassionate towards each other. You know, treat people like you live next door to them instead of, oh, I'm over here safe in my sanctuary, so I can talk bad about everybody who's having a hard time right now.
Yeah.
And you're going to get, you know, it's the old saying, you can, what's that? I'm trying to think of, Ron Smith taught me, he said you can win over more people with a kind word than with a balled fist. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's got this balled fist nowadays. And that's the point that I was making. So whatever issue she was dealing with him, and I'm not in any way saying blaming her at all. Right. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just for her protecting herself, that it's her job as a human being that she should have been trying to work that out personally with him, you know, and us as a person, if we got somebody that's that mad at us, that something happened between us, it's time to talk. Yeah. You know, time to try to work that issue out than to just say, screw him or screw her, you know, because that's how it can end up. And a lot of people nowadays is getting to that point where people will go to that end result. They'll say, you know, I'm tired of this. Yeah. You know, and we're seeing it. It's happening. You know, people are saying, I don't care. You got a good life and I don't. I'm coming after you. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's time for everybody to kind of start listening and trying to understand the people who don't have those good lives.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, so. Oh, there it is. He just Bill just pulled it up for me. What I put on my Facebook, I put leave a man with nothing, give a man nothing, offer him a chance at nothing, and he will fight against you for anything. Never mistreat those less fortunate than you. And that's something that we all have to keep in mind, you know. And I've got a copy of my Muay Tiger book on there because my story, when the Muay Tiger book comes out, is a direct reflection of that saying. Right. That, you know, when I felt that I had nothing to gain, it's on. Yeah. You know, then what do I got to do? You know, but that doesn't make me a weird person. Who wouldn't do that for their family? Right. Who wouldn't do that for their blood? If you feel that you got no chance in life, your kid has no chance in life because you got no chance, you're going to go whatever route you got to go
Right.
to give your family a chance.
Right.
And a lot of these people, that's the position that they feel they're in. I think when we're successful, it's our job to say, well, hold on a second, man. Can I help you? Is there anything what's going on? Why do you feel this way?
Mm-hmm.
Here's an opportunity. Here's a route. Instead of saying, man, I'm over here, say screw them.
Mm-hmm.
They're idiots. Anybody come over here, I'm pulling my M4 out and I'm going to shoot. M4s and bullets and stuff like that, man. Everybody got a gun, especially the bad guys, except theirs ain't registered and they don't live by rules and laws. So they more dangerous than the good guys, you know. So I think that's the only thing I can say where she could have defended herself in that situation, was trying to prevent it and trying to neutralize whatever personal issue they had between each other.
Right. Speaking of your Muay Tiger book, when is it going to be released?
I'm not going to say the name of my buddy who I'm waiting to finish the cover, but we had a print issue, and I'm hoping probably, because what's this, August? I said it was coming out in August, and I'm gonna make a call today and find out what's going on with it. And look, I've been harassed so much by some people on Facebook. When are you going to release it? When are you going to release it? That I'm actually going to release part of the book for free. In probably an ebook. Where people just go and download it, because it's just, I actually wanted to issue the whole book for free. And that's what we're trying to work to do. But I see you looking at me with cross eyes. Yeah, because everybody just got to read that book. They just got to get that message. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to send that message of getting everybody to understand that the way we treat each other can create a person.
Right.
You can be sitting right in front of somebody that can become the next serial killer or become the next heart surgeon.
Yeah.
And a lot of that can be determined by the way you treat them and the way you make them feel about themselves and the way you make them feel that you feel about them. And me coming up in my life, it's tons of those stories where it was game on for me, man. I was ready to go over the edge, and the way somebody treated me 7 years ago made me say, I can't do that, man. I can't. I would not want him to read the newspaper and see that you're mad. So I held on. Yeah. And then positive things came my way, So
they had the cure for you.
Yes, that's where the cure came from. Of course, I created the cure, though. Not the cure for cancer, but the cure. Compassion, understanding, respect, and education. Yeah.
All right, so we got another impossible self-defense situation. There was a girl that was sitting on I think there's been a few of these, but the one I actually saw, she was actually getting ready to pull into her garage, and she got out of the car, and then I think that did they come in while she was
you talking about the garage carjacking.
Yeah, the garage carjacking.
Now, this is a situation. She pulled into her garage, and this wasn't a fancy car. This was a Toyota Camry.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't think you got to have a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW for somebody to come after you.
Right.
But she pulled that car in her garage, and when she closed the door, and when she got out of her car, the garage door opened back up. And she's like, what the? And then the gunman came in, pointed the gun at her. They pistol whipped her, took her purse, took the car, and left.
Wow.
Luckily they didn't kill her. Luckily they didn't take her with them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you got to really be worried about nowadays. They'll take you and sell you somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With all this human trafficking crap that's going on. Everybody heard about, the last podcast on human trafficking.
Yeah.
Now, once again, these criminals are getting smarter. They're getting smoother. They're really strategic. And that's a really hard one, because I think her garage is a garage that's not connected to her house.
Yeah.
So she has to walk out of her garage outside and then into her home.
Okay.
Now, this is a perfect setup, for a criminal. If you're sitting there, and you want to get to somebody, they've been stalking you, they see the car they want, all this kind of stuff. When your garage door opens, first of all, if you got a garage, don't open your garage door until you pull up to your house. I see a lot of people do that. They'll hit the garage door opener, and they're a block away. All right. That time that's open, your home is open.
Yeah.
And if somebody's out there in the bushes waiting, they're zinging up in your garage. Mm-hmm. And then, and this is where good. I guess the best way I can give you an example of self-defense for this is I'm just going to tell you what I do. And then from there, I'm going to allow Rebecca to chop it down and say, Jermaine, everybody's not a trained, samurai, looking around trying to chop the wings off a fly, then we can go from there. So when I deal with it, when I have a garage, first of all, when I'm driving home, I'm always making sure, I always pay attention to see if anybody's following me. Okay. And this is the way it goes when somebody follow you. If you think somebody might be following you, they might be following you. Yeah. Don't ever think, somebody following me? Oh, that's stupid. Right. Don't think like that. Mm-hmm. I don't care. You're probably wrong. So what? That's good. Right. But my precautionary measure is this. I'm driving, listening to some Easy or whatever. I'm listening to, some Beethoven, and I see some lights and it looks like somebody following me. Just like, okay, for instance, the other day, I'm giving you a perfect example. Remember, Rebecca, we were driving. And I said, did you see that? And you said, see what? And I said, we're out here in St. Peter's.
Yeah.
And I said, there's 4 black dudes in a car. And I'm not saying it just because it's 4 black men in suits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was 4 black dudes. I seen some dreads, hats tipped down, all this stuff. And they were beside us, and they pulled behind us. Now, we're in a nice Toyota Camry. And you said, no, I didn't see that. I said, okay, just pay attention. Make sure you're not following. And so we drive. We make our turn. They made the same turn.
Yeah.
We're driving. We make another turn. They make the same turn. So I said, just pull over right here. And this is something good you can do is if you feel like somebody follow you, then just fake it. I told you, turn your right signal on.
Yeah, when we
and
were
you
really
stop the
going
stop
left.
sign. They turned their right signal on, and then you went left. And so they went right. And then we drove a little bit, and I told you pull over and stop because I want to see if they were going to double back.
Right.
Because it's a thing. Just because you dodge somebody the first day, don't mean they know where you went.
Right.
They're going to go right there and wait for you and then follow you the rest of the way. So I need to see if this person's following me. So I said pull over and stop. And let me see if they drive by, and you know what I'm saying? Then that shows, okay, why'd they turn around and come back this way? Maybe they're following us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, of course, they didn't come back. Everything was good. No big deal. We didn't lose any time. We didn't lose anything.
Right.
So that's the first thing you got to do is pay attention if somebody's following. If somebody's following you, don't go home.
Yeah.
Do evasive driving action. Hit your signal, fake one way, go the other way. See if they follow you. And then what you do, go the other way, find somewhere, pull over and stop. Turn your lights off. And leave your car sitting there, duck down.
Yeah.
See if they drive past you after they went the other way. If they did, then you probably got somebody following you.
Right.
So that lets you know what's going on. If you see them drive past you, get their place, description of the car, call the police, let them know, hey, I think somebody's following me. Can you check this out? Cops going to be more than happy to roll up and see what's going on.
Yep.
So that's the first thing.
And it was simple. We didn't go out of our way for
Not
it.
hard. You didn't have to open fire with the CCW or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just awareness, and a little trickery. So now, when I pull up home in my garage, I deal with a garage. First thing is, I'm always my headlights are high beamed.
Yeah.
So I can light up everything around my house. Do I see any shadows in the bushes? I see anybody bouncing around? Do I see any weird cars within a block of my house that's normally not there? What is that Cadillac doing there? Whose is that? I know John lives there and he don't know nobody with a Cadillac. So I'm all this stuff I'm thinking, what's normal for my neighborhood? Okay. And when I pull up and I hit that garage door opener, I'm checking around me, just like carjack. I'm looking in my mirrors. Anybody behind me? Anybody anywhere? When I pull that car in, I'm dousing those. I keep dousing those lights. You got your garage light comes on. This is what happens. You get that little dim garage light that comes on. And also, you can barely even see it's dark in there. It's like the haunted house or saw something up in there. You know what I'm saying? And then your headlights just blinded you. So turn those headlights off. And then me personally, I got a weapon in hand. Just in case somebody is in there.
Right.
And this is where you have to cross that line because most people don't want to feel uncomfortable in their home.
Yeah.
Like somebody might be in my garage. It's a part of my home. Okay. So when I get out, I'm getting out prepared to have to do battle. Whether you got your gun in your hand, a knife in your hand, pepper spray in your hand, getting out prepared, waiting for somebody to make an attack on you. And always remember, whenever you're prepared and waiting for somebody to make an attack, that puts you a step ahead of them.
Yeah.
Because when they attack you, they think they're catching you off guard. That's the first planned, mission of their operation is to catch you off guard.
Right.
They're not going to leave a sign and say, hey, I'm about to attack you in 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? That make no sense. So that means they really counting on this. So when you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm ready.
Right.
I'm waiting for somebody to try something. Close that garage door and watch as that garage door closed. Now, me personally, I would actually close the garage door and I'd walk all around my car. Because one thing I don't want is to go in my house. My garage was connected to my house. Close the door, and you got the little cheap lock, on your garage door that leads to your house. And I go in there and somebody hiding in my garage waiting for me to go to bed.
Right.
And then they come into the garage and they got access to my house. So I actually would walk the perimeter of my garage, weapon in hand, ready to make sure nobody was in there.
Yeah, but I think these guys were, as she was in the car and as it was closing, they were coming in.
Yeah, because, what happens is this is where it makes it hard, as far as you're saying, impossible self-defense situation. Because, let's say she did everything right. She pulled in, she closed her garage, to close it. All right. And all you got to do is stick your arm in there.
Yeah.
And it's not going to close on a human being.
Right.
That's a safety feature of your garage. And that's what happened. They stuck. She said it came back up. She looked, and then the gunman was there.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm saying you have to be ready. If she'd had her gun in her hand or whatever she had, her peps or whatever it was, then she could have defended herself right there.
Right.
He didn't expect her to be ready.
Right.
So she would have had 1 to 2 seconds on him. Well, when he come around the corner thinking he's going to surprise her, he's looking down the barrel of a gun.
Yeah.
And he's getting surprised. He's eating a face full of pepper spray.
Right.
And now she can duck and dodge and run out of there. Which a criminal is usually not there to murder. Unless it's an assassination,
right.
He's not going to shoot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He stepped away. He pulled his gun. That gun is mainly for intimidation.
Yeah.
To get your car. You pepper spray him. He's not going to because the cop's coming.
Right.
And he didn't get the car.
Right.
So all he did was now he's wanted. And if he did hit you with a bullet, now it's murder. So this is a smart criminal. Or else he wouldn't even figure out that trick. He probably not going to shoot.
Right.
So he's going, oh, you son of a, and then try and run and get out of there before the cops get there.
Yeah.
You know, so and I would say for a situation like that, when you're dealing with your garage at home, you have to first admit that this is a secluded area where you're alone. So it's an attack area. Just like I tell real estate agents, you got the most dangerous job in the world because you take people to a secluded area while you're alone. Mm-hmm. You need to be a ninja. You have to be ready to fight.
Right.
You can't just say, oh, well, nothing's going to happen to me. Okay, well, you're that next victim, because that's what they're looking for, is those people who think like that.
Yeah.
So if you have a garage at home, you have to think that somebody could be in there waiting for me to pull my BMW in. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't care what neighborhood you live in.
Right.
Criminals travel now. You know, they know how to work their way around the police. They know how to put their head on right, sit up right, put a seatbelt on, and drive through town and look like a normal guy. Mm-hmm. You know, then the ski mask come out when it's time for it. So everybody's got to start understanding we live in these times where you have to be ready to defend yourself.
Absolutely.
So that wasn't too over the edge.
Actually, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Okay. And something else too, you know, a lot of people, you know, you got your cell phones right now, and they all got this GPS locator on.
Right.
Even if you download a damn app to play pinball, it want to know where you at. And then even if you use GPS, it wants to know where your home is.
Yeah.
And a lot of them automatically put it off of just, you go and buy your phone at Sprint or wherever, and you put your address, it automatically puts it in that phone. So if somebody steals your phone, they got access to your house.
Right.
You know, just do that. And like I said, you always need to make sure your phone is locked for one. You know, always lock it. Don't ever leave your phone open where somebody just pick it up and start going through it. It should be locked where if they, you know, it's got a code or the pattern or something like that. But a good idea to keep someone from picking up your phone, and just because you got the GPS locator on them knowing where your home is and how to get to your house, is you can actually just put in, like, you know, a local landmark that's near your home. Right. You know, a McDonald's or, you know, Wendy's or a Walmart or, you know, anything that's just in that area.
Absolutely.
Because you know where you're at when you get there.
Right.
You know, like I got a Lowe's that's probably about 5 minutes from my house. If I put Lowe's in there as this is where I'm at, that's all my phone ever needs to know I'm at. Then somebody gets that phone, all they get into is Lowe's, and they're not going to be able to get directly to my house.
Really good idea.
So that's a good little safety feature they can use also.
So back to what I was about to talk about, and you.
Yeah, out of order.
So I think there's been a few situations like this, but the one I saw, it was actually, I think they were pretty young too, probably teenagers. There was a girl that was sitting on a park bench. She had her baby in her hand. I wouldn't say baby. It wasn't an infant or anything. Probably a 1-year-old maybe. And she started fighting with two girls that were standing up. And then she straight pulled her hair, and because she had her baby in her hand, and the baby fell down, and she fell down with it. So that's another situation. You know, what do you do when you're carrying a kid in your hand? I mean, I know I saw a video like that also. And the lady it was like she was standing holding the baby. Yeah, standing you have more access because you could still use your feet. So this girl was sitting down, so she didn't have a lot of weapons to use. Yeah, well, the first thing she needed to do was stand up. Yeah. You know, if you get attacked, because that can happen too. You could be walking out to your car, you know, and you got your kid, you got grocery bags and stuff like that. Yeah. And you can't, you know, like I say, I always tell you, if you're carrying bags, you should always be able to escape your bags. Yeah. Like even a gym bag or something. You should be able to just roll your hand through the strap and it falls on the ground. You know, if you got a 30-pound gym bag with all this stuff and you don't want to be fighting with a gym bag on you, it's going to wear you down. It's like a 10-pound vest or a 20-pound vest on you. As far as a child, you can't drop that child, right, especially a baby. Yeah, like the one I saw, this lady had probably like a newborn. You know, the baby probably less than a year old. It couldn't walk or anything like that. So she couldn't just lay it in the gutter while she fought. And this girl was attacking her while she had the baby. She was, I got a baby, and she was punching her in the face and everything. You know, and all these idiots were standing around letting it happen. You know, that's something. I don't care what had happened. What if this girl deserved to get beat up? Because a lot of times you see people get beat up online, and they deserve a butt kicking because you don't know what they did prior to that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But in a situation like that, you stop that because the baby's going to get hurt. You know, you stop that, and if the girl deserved to get beat, I mean, if God himself says she needs her butt kicked, then you at least go over there and take the baby from her. Right. Say, let me hold your baby while you fight this out. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But a situation like that, that's why, again, I say you have to know your hand-to-hand combat. You know, if she had a CCW on, it ain't going to do it no good because she can't get to her gun. Yeah. She can't even get to her knife, can't even get to pepper spray. You have to know how to kick.
You know, that situation where you're covering that child, you know, and the same thing with, you know, you walking out of the store and you got your newborn baby in your arms and somebody tries to attack you and throw you in a car. You know, you can't just throw your baby on the ground or under the car and start fighting with your hands. So you have to know how to fight with those feet. You know, the front push kicks in Muay Thai, the front snap kick of Taekwondo or Karate, and then most importantly, knees.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. People don't really know how to protect themselves from a knee to the groin. Yeah. You know, even in the martial arts, our blocks and protection for that, you know, rarely work for a knee to the groin. And that's why you see that happen in fights. You know, you see the fights we were at, how many times you see somebody get kneed in the groin on accident? You can't stop it. Yeah. It's almost impossible to defend. So you have to take your mind to that state that when you got that baby, the first thing you got to do is protect that baby. You can't get knocked down because you land on that kid and smash it. Yeah. You know, then what? You know, so covering that child and protecting it and then using your kicks. And of course, one of the best kicks, one of my favorite kicks is the side kick. Because the side kick puts you in a position where you can lean sideways. So now the baby is almost behind you, protected. And boom, that's the most powerful kick you can throw. Yeah. You know, it's that side kick. You can kick the knee, you can kick the groin, you can kick the stomach, kick anywhere you can kick, you know. So
what about a headbutt? With that?
Yep, a headbutt. Yep. Headbutt if you're that close. I just think if they're that close to you, especially with that baby, something's happening. Either they're grabbing you or they're hitting you. Yeah. Which is letting them get too close to the baby. So your legs got distance. You know, where, and listeners, if y'all can see me right now, I'm like sticking my foot out of Rebecca. She's looking at the bottom of my shoe. Any gum on the bottom of my shoe, anything? You're good. But it gives you distance while I'm holding this kid. You know, even, like I said, even with that side kick, now I'm really here. Now I really got this kid over here. And I'll put some pictures of us throwing a side kick up on the thing so y'all can see what I'm doing there. But, you know, me holding here, now I really got the baby protected while I'm throwing that side kick. Kicks is going to be best for you. You got to have kicks, balance, and footwork. Yeah. You know, your footwork will be able to get you away from the person while they're swinging at you, and then you got to use those kicks, you know, kicks, knees to defend yourself in a situation like that. So it all goes back to training. You know, everybody needs to quit fooling themselves. We live in violent times, and you don't know when that moment's going to happen when what you know in self-defense is going to save your life or your kid's life. Yeah. Because people don't care nowadays. You know, I remember I used to tell the bouncers that when I train them, I say, guys, everybody tough when you got your crew of gorillas with you, and you're going against this one drunk guy. Everybody want to beat me. Oh, I'll kick you. I'll do this and I'll do that. Yeah. But you know what? What are you going to do when you and your daughter are down at the mall hanging out and he got two of his boys, they hanging out and they walk up and approach you. Yep. And you got to defend that. Yep. Now who's tough? Now you don't want to fight. Well, I got my kid. I don't care if you got your kid. You didn't care that I was with my girl at the club, though. Right. You know what I'm saying? So people don't care nowadays. And that showed you those two videos that we looked at, you know, where the people were, you know, attacking them while they had kids in their hand.
Yep. So I have a question, and I'm sorry, I'm just kind of jumping in here, but is there ever a time, the lesser of two evils when you're in this type of situation and dealing with the baby, is to actually either place it on the ground if you can, or like kind of do a body roll and leave the baby on the ground where you can defend and attack this person, or maybe just quickly drop it?
I guess it'd be
if you got somewhere safe,
like the grass.
If you know the situation is not going to be a good outcome, you have to actually stand and fight. Is there a way to leave the baby as best protected as you can and still fight them? Yeah,
the only thing, I mean, you better attack and get a hold of that person. Again, it goes back to what you know, because if you lose, what are they going to do to that baby? You know what I'm saying? So it may even before the fighting and all that, escape is always the first option, especially if you got a baby. Like the girl who was getting hit, she should have tried running. But again, you know, if you get hit in the back of the head, get knocked out, this girl don't care. She trip your feet, blah, now you just landed on and crushed this baby. So, you know, the kicking, of course, is first priority. I could see that because, like I said, I always try to put myself in those situations. If I'm holding Kaden when she was a baby, then I'm getting attacked by this person, and I start maybe kicking and the kicking ain't working. I could see me saying, you know, covering and putting her down and actually trying to murder, you know, getting a hold. I'm talking, now we're not talking pup, we're talking biting, you know, me and fingers in the eyeballs, everything I can, because I feel that if I don't destroy this individual, then now my kid's really helpless over here. So yeah, from in that perspective, definitely, I can see that working also. Okay, and that just about wraps it up, everybody. You know, there's a few scenarios, you know, of impossible self-defense situations, and just getting you to understand that, you know, these criminals nowadays can put you in a position where it's hard for you to defend yourself if you weren't prepared and ready and expecting a potential attack. You know, and also, like I said, you know, talking with the guys in the beginning, these three guys, you know, Alex Scolotos, Spencer Stone, and Anthony Salad, that stood up together to stop this guy, and this wasn't just an easy stop. One of them got cut up with a box cutter, but they all continued and they stood up and fought and shut down, what would have ended up being a tragedy for a lot of people, including themselves. So we have to admit to the times that we live in, be prepared. Awareness puts you a step ahead. These impossible self-defense situations, when you're expecting the possibility of an attack, that puts you a step ahead of the attacker, because the attacker always assumes that that they're going to surprise you, that you have no idea that this is going to happen. And they also assume that you're going to respond out of fear. They're not out there looking for a fight. So just keep that all in mind. So, All right, Jermaine Andre here with LifeFight, signing off with Rebecca Beck.
Take care, everybody.
Remember, guys, to go and check out and give us reviews. Check us out on iTunes. Always feel free to go find us on LifeFight. Like our page. Any questions you have to ask about even old podcasts that we put up, always feel free to ask. Any topics you want to hear me cover, any questions you got about self-defense, health and fitness, anything like that. Always feel free to put it up there, and we'll definitely get back to you with a response. But Jermaine Andre here. Remember, there's more to life than just fighting.
For all things Jermaine Andre, get books, get trained. Learn the secrets behind his brawn, his brain, and his edge. Visit JermaineAndre.com. Life Fight with Jermaine Andre is another positive production of RareGem Productions. Thanks for listening.